Great, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Epson projectors that are available in all of the rooms at the high school and some of the rooms over at other schools. Buckin, I know, has them. First thing that you're going to be aware of is that they are touch devices, so you just plug in your computer and in most cases they should just work. But in some cases they don't. If that happens, then you have to let us know that you're having issues with that. You turn your projector on, you plug in your computer, and it should just work as a touch device. So I just open that up and it works. Most of them are calibrated pretty well so that exactly where you touch is where the cursor ends up. If that's not the case, then we do have to do a little bit of adjustment. Touch works just fine on this one, and that's pretty much all there is to know about the touch functionality of the Epson projectors. When it's not working, let one of us know. If it is working, then great, no further action needs to be taken. One of the things you might not know is on either side you can touch a little box, and it gives you a little drawer that comes out that lets you change between PC interactive mode and pen mode. And pen mode is something that actually doesn't even need a computer to be hooked up for. If I wanted to, I can use this as just a whiteboard without using whiteboard markers. So if I pull out that drawer again, now there's a little arrow that pops out, and this gives me a shelf of different options that I can use. Now if I wanted to, I can draw just right on the screen. I'll try and pick something that'll stand out a little bit. I can just draw right on the screen with my finger, and that works just fine. You get multi-touch, so if you touch in a couple of places, sometimes it tracks well, sometimes it doesn't, but if I've got one person over here working and another person over here working, both of them should be able to draw at the same time. The clear all button is this eraser button right here. When I tap it, it asks me if I want to delete everything on the screen. I'll hit yes, and it clears everything out. Now, if I want just a blank canvas to draw on, I'll tap this little tab over here at the top. I gotta pull that out again. And that's going to switch it over to blank canvas mode. So in this case, I've got a white screen that I can just go ahead and draw on. So I'm going to pick my blue marker here. And once again, I can just draw with both hands independently. And to clear it off, I can do clear all, or if I just need to wipe off part of the board, I can just go and grab the eraser and start clearing off just the spot that I need to. What you'll also notice here, and it might be tough to see on this screen, it does show you the color modes for the two pens that are included with every smartboard. Now I can pull over the app menu, or the drawer over on the side here, and I can show it off while also grabbing my pens. What you might not notice is that each of these pens has a different color to it, and those colors on the ends here correspond to the color that's showing up in that panel on the side here. So the yellow one comes first. Right now that's set to black. I'll set that to blue. The blue one I'll set to black. Actually, let's go ahead and do that the other way around. I'll set the yellow one to red, and I'll set the blue one to blue. And then I'm going to set my finger to erase. And this is going to allow me to switch between the different markers. The board is smart enough to know which marker you're using at a given time. So the blue one is going to draw in blue. The red one is going to draw, or the yellow one is going to draw in red. And my finger can be used as an eraser. So these pens can be used independently. I can set them down here and just pick them up when I need to switch between different colors. Custom colors. So if I want something different than blue, black, or red, and in these two sizes, big or small, I can pick from the thin line here. I can choose which size I want this to be, so let's go ahead and make that a really thin line and make it something that's going to show up, so this purplish, pinkish color. Now if I draw on that, I can do a very fine line in purple pink. And again, my fingers are still set to eraser, so I can just go in here and clean that up. I'll clear everything. Now, if I tap this button at the top, which looks like a little arrow pointing at a squiggly line made of mountains or something, it gives me this drawer that allows me to choose between a white page with lines on it, a white page with graph marks on it, a black page with lines, and a black page with graphing marks, or your basic white canvas. So I'll go ahead and pick this black one, and I'm going to select that one right there is the highlighter. It looks like a bigger marker with a yellow bar on it. So I'm going to use the regular marker, and let's go ahead and do a white fine line here. Okay, I've written out hello everybody, and then I'll switch over to the highlighter, if it'll let me. There we go. And now I'm going to pick a yellow highlighter, and I'm going to make it the biggest line possible. And now I can highlight over that. Of course, yellow on white isn't going to show up the best, especially not on the camera view from across the way. But you can see that, you can sort of see everything that's on there, and trust me, it looks a lot better when you're actually in the room. Now the great thing is you can be doing all three things at once. You know, if I've got one person over here writing with their finger, one person over here writing with a pen, and one person over here writing with the other pen, we can do all of those at the same time, in theory. I guess the battery wasn't charged enough on this one or something. Oh, nope, it switched over to erase at some point. I don't know when that happened. But now I can go ahead and do all three at the same time, in theory. I guess it's not liking that these two are, that my finger and the pen are so close to one another. Anyways, you know, technology, it isn't perfect. Anyways, the pens can be found in this little tray over on the side here. And when you're ready to shut off the projector, you can either use the remote, or you can push the button, you know, if you're tall, or you can hit this arrow at the bottom right of the screen, this up arrow. It's got a few different controls on here. One of them is volume, which we don't really worry about. That one freezes the screen, I believe. It looks like a little pause button. There's a magnifier that you can use to magnify in your grid. There's a source selection, so you know, if you ever had to worry about that. I think the big one is going to be, you can switch over to LAN mode, and that's right, these things can be controlled wirelessly. So as long as you have the correct software, which is Epson MP Project or Epson Easy Project, something like that. I'll give more information about that somewhere else. But you can control what's on the screen wirelessly. It doesn't have the best refresh rate. It's kind of slow and choppy, so you can't play videos over it, but it does just fine for loading web pages and browsing from the back of the classroom, you know, pulling up some resources for students to use, that kind of thing. But then the final control that's on here is you can actually just hit the shutdown button and then hit power off yes, and that shuts off the projector without ever having to find the remote, because it's really easy to lose track of where you put these while you're in the middle of teaching. You don't necessarily want to spend the time figuring out where you lost track of this. So hopefully that was a good little overview of some of the features that you can find on the Epson projectors. Again, if you're having any trouble with any of those, or if you need help working with any of these features, feel free to drop tech a line. One of us will be up here to assist you, eventually. As long as I'm free, I gladly come up and show people how to use these things. That's just what I enjoy doing. So anyways, hope this was helpful. Thank you.